I've never really been comfortable with the statement that God will never tamper with someone's free will. And let me give you a reason why. I was in northern Thailand a number of years ago and ran into a friend of mine that I hadn't seen forever. It was just a remarkable coincidence, so to speak. I asked what was he doing there, and he said, well, he was really being routed to somewhere in South Asia, and there was an air traffic controller strike that messed up all the airplane stuff, and he kind of got stuck in Thailand, decided he would visit an agency there in northern Thailand and just volunteer his efforts for the time that he was there. Turns out that the Christians at that mission agency had been praying for God to bring someone to help them, and they saw this, I think understandably so, as a remarkable answer to prayer. But how did this take place? How is it that God secured an answer to the prayer? Well, if you think about air traffic controller strikes, these are the kinds of things which was the proximate cause of his being able to come and visit the missionaries, and therefore, in a certain sense, in a human sense, the cause of the answer to prayer. These things happen because human beings make individual decisions about things, like we're not going to work unless you pay us more money. And I know this is kind of a complex issue, but when I look at things like that, if we believe that God answers prayer through the agency of other people, even sometimes complex agency of other people, it's hard for me to sign off on the notion that God never tampers with another person's free will to accomplish his ends. And I guess you have to ask yourself the question, does God have a plan or not? And if he does have a plan, is this a plan that he ensures will come to pass sovereignly, or is this something that he just would like to see happen, and he hopes all the people make just the right free choices in order for it to be fulfilled? I actually don't think he's leaving it up to human beings like that. I think he's got broad purposes that he expects to fulfill, and that in the process of doing that, there are choices individual people have to make that in some way or another he is going to deeply influence, not necessarily cancel out all free will, but certainly deeply influence to ensure that his sovereign purposes are accomplished. And frankly, I don't know how else it could get done. And so, like I said, I think this is a complex issue. But I think just simply signing off on the alleged truism that God never tampers with a person's free will is just not sound. We have biblical examples to the contrary. It seems very apparent, and we have many examples in life that seem to indicate the opposite. In fact, it seems to me when we pray for things to happen, we are actually praying that God will change the course of events that would naturally take place, which entails changing people's decisions so that a new end will be accomplished. That end is the very thing we're praying for. And if God doesn't tamper, quote unquote, in some way, intervene in some way, it seems to me we're just left with human decisions happening in a chaotic way and God's plan not able to be accomplished. At least it's something to think about.